A while back, Bernie Sanders' speech was interrupted by Black Lives Matter protesters, and he actually had the temerity to let them talk. He was being respectful to the protesters. Donald Trump doesn't roll that way, and at the time, he told us that if anyone tried to protest him like that, including Black Lives Matter, it would end up differently. Listen to what he said back then.
I would never give up my microphone. I thought that was disgusting. That showed such weakness. The way he was taken away by two young women. The microphone, they just took the whole place over. And the audience, which liked him, I mean, they were him. They're saying, what's going on? How can this happen? That will never happen with me. I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will. But believe me, that's not going to happen to Trump.
Well, we have a pretty good sense of who's going to do the fighting now. This happened over and over again in Trump rallies. It happened again over the weekend in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm going to show you that video in a second. But let's give you proper context here because the rest of the media isn't doing it. This is not the first time. Remember, a protester was spat upon in another Trump rally. Here, if you don't remember, here's the tape on it. Now, that started getting physical. So the man who was spit upon was incredibly restrained there. I don't know if I would have been likewise. Good for him. And then there was the two idiots up in Boston who beat the hell out of a Latino homeless guy, thinking that he wasn't a citizen, and they said they wanted to support Trump. Trump afterwards said, hey, some of my supporters are enthusiastic. Okay, so the Boston guys were not at a rally. But now you got the spitting at a rally. Remember, there was another man who was beat up at a Trump rally. Again, everybody's forgotten this, but it just happened about 2 weeks ago. A Latino guy was protesting at a Trump rally. They knocked him down and they dragged him out. If you don't remember, take a look at the video. We were worried at that time that that was the beginning of fascism, as this man is clearly being assaulted and they're chanting USA, USA. As to the best of my knowledge, we asked for the authorities to investigate that and arrest the guy who clearly assaulted him on tape, and they have done no such thing. So now Trump is in Alabama over the weekend, and there's a Black Lives Matter activist, and he's protesting, and you hear Trump in the background say, quote, get him the hell out of here. And they do, but not before seriously assaulting him. Now let's go to the videotape. You'll see that the man has already been knocked down when the tape begins.
And you know what? My speech and now it's about security. It's about growth. It's about protection.
Now, understand, from time to time, people get escorted from rallies. It happens, right? The authorities are supposed to do that, and they're supposed to do it calmly. And as you saw in the first video where the Latino guy was attacked, there was another Latino guy, and he put up his arms and was walking away with the authorities so that he was not attacked, right? Now, in this case, I don't know if you can tell, but it looked like the gentleman involved here Mercutio Southall did put up his arms in the distance before he was knocked down. But this is not the authorities leading someone away. This is several people assaulting a guy. And as you'll see here, Southall says that he was punched and kicked and choked. So you know that that's partly true because you see an unknown woman, you hear her in the CNN tape saying, quote, "Don't choke him, don't choke him, don't choke him." Now you say that when someone's choking him. Southall says the guy who was choking him was the guy that you saw in that ridiculous fighting stance in the blue and white shirt, going like this. He apparently had hit him several times already and was choking him when he was on the ground. That's what Southall says. You see the tape for yourself on what happened afterwards. Now, Southall said that when he was down there and all these people were attacking him at the same time, it felt, quote, like a lynch mob, okay? He said that some had said the N-word, some called him a monkey. Now, we have the woman saying don't choke him on tape, otherwise it's the camera in the beginning was too far away, you couldn't hear what the crowd was saying. So that's Southall's version of how it went down. Now, as they're doing all these terrible things, you know what some of the guys there chanting were? They were chanting "All Lives Matter," as they're showing enormous disregard for this guy's life. Okay, now he says he was punched in the neck, punched in the back of the head, choked, etc. They're choking a guy as they're chanting "All Lives Matter." You want to talk about not getting it, right? And here's a guy surrounded by white dudes in Alabama, a black guy. He says his grandparents were on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in that famous march, right? You know, Selma, Alabama. Okay, it's the same state, Alabama. There they are in Birmingham. They're beating the guy down, chanting "All Lives Matter" as they choke him. Here we are, man. We're right back in the soup. So Sean Edwards, meanwhile, is the local authorities. I'm sure the local authorities in Alabama will be very much on his side. I mean, the guy, you saw it on tape, clearly assaulted, right? I mean, how many people are the cops bringing in now? 3, 4 people. Now, they kicked him out. I understand why you remove a guy who is being disruptive. Did they then go back in and get the guys who assaulted him? Of course not. Sean Edwards, who's the Birmingham police lieutenant, says, man, our officers didn't see the beating. I have the tape. I saw the beating. You just saw the beating. They didn't see it. He says, quote, and now this is going after the victim, "I would be a little cautious with Mercutio Southall. He's been an agitator from day one. Mercutio is always the agitator." Oh, we're right back there, man. That's exactly what they said during the Civil Rights Movement. We don't want these agitators around here. We don't want those northern agitators, they used to say. So instead of helping the victim, they turn around and call him the agitator. And so far, from the looks of it, no attempt to arrest anyone who clearly assaulted him. How long is this going to go? How much further is this going to go? Now, in the beginning, the Trump campaign said, oh, no, we don't condone any violence. And then Trump went on TV and said, nah, not really. I kind of do condone it. Here, watch.
And that was I don't know, you say roughed up. He was so obnoxious and so loud. He was screaming. I had 10,000 people in the room yesterday, 10,000 people. And this guy started screaming by himself. And I don't know, rough up. Maybe he should have been roughed up because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing. This was not handled the way Bernie Sanders handled his problem, I will tell you. But I have a lot of fans, and they were not happy about it.
He's bragging about it. I have a lot of fans, and they weren't happy about the protester. And maybe he got roughed up. Here, you heard it for yourself, but I'll quote you again. Maybe he should have been roughed up. It was disgusting what he was doing. The guys chanting "All Lives Matter" as they kick the crap out of this guy is not disgusting. Those are his fans who are just sticking up for him. And any protester should know that they will be physically assaulted at a Donald Trump event. Yeah, this is exactly how fascism begins. So they brook no dissent, and the answer will be physical and it'll be violent. And already the authorities are like, oh, what? They didn't arrest the guy who attacked the Latino guy. They didn't arrest the spitter. They didn't arrest any of the guys in Alabama. So it's open season. You want to try to protest Donald Trump? Imagine if this guy's president And he's having his fans beat up anyone who protests the president. Is this America? Look at what we've become. He has a comfortable lead in the Republican race. One more quote from Southwell. He says, I got punched in the face. I got punched in the neck. I got kicked in the chest, kicked in the stomach. Somebody stepped on my hand, okay? And like I said, he was choked too. And Trump says, I got fans who are doing that. He brags about it on TV. You see, Trump isn't leading in the Republican primaries despite this. He's leading because of this. His lead will not go down. It'll go up from now on, okay? And this is not concerning because it is one rogue candidate. And we're worried about what one guy thinks. We're worried because it is representative. He's leading. He's number one among the Republicans. Republican voters look at that. They don't view that as a problem. They view it as the solution. There's something deeply wrong with this country, and certainly with one particular party in this country that's headed down a dark, dark path.